It's that time. We've done two. Here's number three. It's time for the AFC North. Yo, what's happening, everybody? It's Brian and Brennan back for another episode of Too Much Fantasy Football. We've got to talk about these divisions. We're diving into the AFC North, and perfect time to do that, of course, absolutely, with the news we got. How are we doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. I realized that if you're over 30, you don't belong in mosh pits anymore, and I learned that this weekend. So,
Well, you saved me. Next month, I had one locked up there, so I guess I'll be sitting in the back seats. That's kind of. I guess I'm like the less intense version of that. Like when we go to the
Mhm.
amphitheater, we're always sitting in the lawn, but that's too much now for my wife. Just all the stuff going on. So now we sit in like the lame seats that are like in between the mosh pit and the lawn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
feeling
and my
old.
friend both realized like sitting in chairs is just so much better. Like, like I just no, I can't. Like standing for like 8 hours plus, like, and it's just like you're sitting in grass. Like, no, give me a nice seat, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'm completely there with you. I've hit that point in my life where I've now moved out of like I always want to stand now. I don't mind sitting every now and then.
Yeah, I enjoy sitting. I'm too fat to stand.
Well, first off, we have to talk about a. Well, I guess we got news. We got
We got
news.
plenty
News,
of news
news, news. All
actually.
right, what do we got then? What's that?
All
What's
right.
happening?
So first off, big news over the weekend. Well, a lot of the second round picks still have not signed.
30
So
of the 32.
yeah, so Trey Harris is officially holding out from the Chargers, which is I'm sorry, Chargers fans, it really does suck because Mike Williams also just got put on the pup. Death taxes. Mike Williams on the pup list. So I think he's got a pretty big argument now, and I think also because Higgins, the wide receiver for the Texans, got a fully guaranteed contract. So a lot of these guys are just looking at that, being like, I would also like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The only two guys that have signed got the fully guaranteed, so now everybody else is trying to get their piece. Which good for them. You're not spending a whole lot on these second, third plus round. Come on,
yeah, I think it's
pay up.
like $7 million basically is what it comes down to. Like, I mean, that's just it really is nothing at
Over
the end of the
4 years, not 1 year. Over
Yeah,
4 years. Yeah, quit
exactly.
being a cheap
So
son of a bitch, owners. Come on,
I
let's
think they're
figure it
afraid
out.
of it's going to come to like third rounders asking for fully guaranteed, but like I don't know. I think it's just kind of silly at the end of the day.
Even then, I really don't mind, at least for a third round, like a day two. Why not? Because again,
Yeah.
it's less than 6 mil for by the time you get down to the third round. So why not? Can't say
And
that.
Brian, there's a certain second rounder who was not signed and got into a little bit of trouble over the weekend. So
Yeah, there is one. Luckily, he falls. I guess you want to save him for once we get down to that team.
yeah, we can save when we talk about that certain
Well,
team.
we'll tease that out there a little bit. If you haven't seen the news of a
Trust me.
certain guy, that his name rhymes with Winshawn Ludkins. Um,
Good rhyming skills. Next time I'm over here.
Right. And then one thing we missed last week, Tristan Wirth, the left tackle for the Buccaneers, linchpin in that offensive line, had to get a little cleanup surgery this offseason, so he will be missing the first few weeks. I don't know. I haven't really seen
Yeah,
whether or not it's. I haven't seen if it's pup worthy yet.
okay.
And folks, if he goes on the pup now, that's not a detriment. Like they
No.
can go on the pup now and then come right back off, but it's once we get into the season or they designate him going into the season, then he'd
Yes.
have to miss at least 4 weeks. So it's not terrible, but Baker's going to want his left tackle out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's guaranteed. And also we a certain wide receiver got paid. Good for him.
That's right. I completely forgot about this actually.
Garrett Wilson, 4 years, $130 million. I think 90 million
90.
guaranteed. Good for him, man. I mean, they kind of had no choice. Like, he truly is an amazing talent, and I think he deserves every penny of it. But it's also crazy to me that he got half of a contract worthy of an NBA player. Like, it's just so crazy what NBA money is.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, put your kids, make them go play basketball.
And then on other contract-related news, Terry McLaurin spoke out today saying contract has gone nowhere and he is willing to sit out if necessary. So this is getting a little more dicey.
Let's not get it like hyperbolic here, but let's explore a little bit. If say we know he's going to sit for a few weeks, does that change anything for you and Jaden Daniels? Does Debo start to get more enticing, at least here in draft season?
Um, it changes things for me for sure. If he is willing to sit out, like I am getting a little more weary. I mean, Debo might move up a spot or two, nothing crazy, but like nothing for Jaden. Jaden's legs is what you're enticed by when you want to draft him. He's still if Terry sat out for the year, like let's just say he somehow pulled a Le'Veon Bell and sat out for the full year, maybe I put Joe Burrow ahead of him, like maybe, but even then, I still think Jaden's just a spectacular talent.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's seems, I don't want to say can't miss, but as well as much as that can be in fantasy football.
Rumor mills, though, are everyone wants him to get traded to Buffalo if they can't work out a contract extension. Every time I check Twitter for the Terry McLaurin news, it's just like Bills Mafia, Bills. It's like kind of makes sense.
Interesting. Can they
Yeah,
just get him like a young stud instead of like continually taking some of these shots on like these old guys? I mean, I guess Stephon Diggs wasn't, but just after
yeah,
Amari Cooper last year, that didn't go very well.
no, not at all.
Folks, it's time. We got to dig into here. I'm ready to talk some divisions because finally we can talk about. I guess some of the divisions we've talked about are decently good, but this one might be one of the better in the NFL. It's consistently on the top, or at least three of the teams are. And I mean, spoiler, I think this is going to be yet again my Super Bowl pick, but I want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. We got to talk about the ones that finished first in the division last year with a 12-5 record. This year projected at 11.5 wins. They kept the gang together. They brought in DeAndre Hopkins, if anything. So I mean, just first thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens this year.
That's just a well-run franchise at the end of the day. Like they do everything correctly, and like what we see here on the offense is like what we don't talk about as a defense side. Like they always have one of the top five defenses in there, and they just got better this year. They ended up getting Jair Alexander for basically pennies and added into their secondary. They have Kyle Hamilton, like they have Roquan Smith, one of the best off-ball linebackers. Like they continuously just make great moves year after year, and everyone's banging the table saying Lamar needs to win the Super Bowl, and I agree with that. And I think there's a reason why he didn't win his third MVP last year is because I think people get voter fatigue from it. So I think Lamar. We sit here and say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback, but damn, you could honestly make the case for Lamar if you really want to.
I was just about to ask. Like Lamar hasn't, he hasn't won a lot in the playoffs. He hasn't won the MVP, but he's essentially got the new era Tom Brady. Like how many
Hmm.
great quarterbacks should have won more over the 20 years ago?
Oh
But
yeah,
Tom Brady just wouldn't let him get in there.
he's taken a few from a lot of guys. I think a lot of guys are punching air because of him.
Matt Ryan, hey, if you want to come on the show, buddy, come on. We'll let you.
A
We'll
spot
let
for
you.
you.
Yeah, you can come vent. But like, you're not in the camp that like Lamar's overrated or he's been figured out or I mean, folks, it's the off season. We're coming into the regular season, but like some of the craziness that's spouted about Lamar not being amazing. Come on, look at the guy.
Yeah, like so besides his rookie year where he only played I think like 3 games. I mean, then 2019 came out of nowhere, was ranked one, and then 2020, I think he missed a couple of games, and then obviously he had a little bit of a fall off from 21 to 22. I think he was injured a few. And then the past 2 years was 4-1. Like I don't think you can sit there and say, yeah, we figured out Lamar because we've watched plenty of games where I thought Lamar was sacked. I thought Lamar was going to be doing something stupid, but now the Lamar, and he's a great passer as well. I think that's what also, it's so crazy when you could look back at 2018. They're like, yeah, some guys are like, yeah, he should be convert to wide receiver. What idiots.
Yeah, Lamar was number one in was it yards per attempt and EPA last year. Number one, while
Mhm.
also being the only quarterback in history to throw for 41 touchdowns and less than 5 interceptions. The
Yeah.
guy that is a cheat code with his legs did that. Like so, I mean, you can't deny it. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. Seeing it's got to be just for interactions on internet. But like, I'm not biting. I'm not
Yeah.
biting.
I'm not biting either.
So Lamar coming in at QB1, ADP 22 is what you're looking at to pay for it. I don't typically like to pay up for quarterback. Sometimes I will, but Lamar's definitely the guy up here at the top that I've got no problem taking up here early if you do.
Yeah, the first four quarterbacks we talk about a lot, obviously Lamar, Josh, Jalen, and Jaden. Like if you're in a 4-point passing touchdown league, yes, you do need to pay up because it's just so much more crucial to have a guy that can rush for touchdowns. Because once it becomes 6 points for passing touchdowns, it's a little bit on the level field. The only thing that obviously adds to him is his rushing upside. But if it's a 4-point passing touchdown league, like he's definitely worth paying up for that price.
So we've got Derrick Henry. Does he continue? Does this because he got older? I think he still got older this year, just like everybody else. But the man is just a beast. RB6, ADP. He's pick 12, so like you're still having to take him in the first round. Full confidence.
I mean, we're entering year 10, I believe. He's 31, and all he's ever been has just been an RB1, except for I think in 2021, where he played only 8 games and finished as RB16. Like, I think I said in like 2023, like, yeah, this is his final year. This is where the downfall happens. And it just, nope, he ended up being a top 3 back last year. And I just think he's just one of those guys that's just a freak anomaly. It's just going to continuously be good. He could probably be good till his mid 30s, if we're being honest, if he just takes care of himself.
And it seems like he does. All the hype videos you get in the offseason of what he does to take care of himself.
Hmm.
The man's just incredible. 6'2", 250. Yeah, this is year 10 for him. The touchdowns last year was just stupid. You know, we had 16 rushing touchdowns. He also had 2 receiving as well. So the guy who
Just
doesn't catch
imagine if he
passes,
could catch the ball, though. If he could catch the ball, he'd be the greatest running back ever.
he was 19 for 22 on his target. So like that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that is. But man, like I don't know why, but anytime I've ever watched him like try to catch the ball, he just drops it. It must just be a me thing because anytime I see him try to catch the ball, it's just like hits him right here in the hands, and he tries to turn and just go, and it doesn't work out
I was
for
gonna
him.
say he only dropped 3 or missed 3. I'm pretty sure I saw all 3. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm gonna say I probably saw all 3 for whatever reason. I don't know why.
because yeah, it feels like it's just so aggressive the way he moves into it. But it's also nice too because most teams don't expect him to do that. So when it happens, it's huge chunk yardage, which that's just amazing when you get that added.
Oh yeah.
193 yards he added through the air as well to go with his 1900 yards rushing.
Hmm. Yeah, he's a can't miss. He's one of those guys that it's just like it's a no brainer. Right when you see him at that ADP, I have no problem smashing him.
The Ravens have a little bit more questions when you come over here to the wide receiver room. They did add DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason, so I mean he might sniff out 3 to 5 touchdowns this season, but I don't really see him being involved as far as a fantasy piece. Rashad Bateman, though, this is the guy I want to chat about for a bit because he seems a lot harder. Are you looking that direction? He had 8 touchdowns last year. I imagine Lamar's going to have a little regression on the touchdown.
I mean, like if you look at his line, like right, it was 72 targets, which not terrible, 45 receptions, which is bad, 756 yards, but 9 touchdowns. If he had like 4 touchdowns, will we really be talking about him? Like that's just the honest truth of it. Like, do I expect to have 9 touchdowns again? No, because I also don't expect Lamar to throw for 40 touchdowns again. So I do expect some regression in that instance. He's a perfect best ball player,
For
but not a
sure.
guy I want to be drafting for my redraft leagues.
Yeah, 45 catches to 9 touchdowns. You're not catching one every 5 passes.
Yeah, no.
That's absurd. What's not absurd though is taking Zay Flowers. You know, a tried and true player, not necessarily a touchdown guy. He's a little smaller, but just absorbs targets, and he is the number 1 wide receiver for Lamar Jackson, who threw 41 touchdowns. I guess that's kind of the hard part for me. Like, how did he only finish with what he had with those many touchdowns? Right now, he's going as 27, wide receiver 27, 58 overall. So you're getting him right there around the end of the 5th. Is he somebody you're finding yourself clicking a lot in drafts?
Where he's going, yeah, I don't mind it actually because I think like he's a perfect wide receiver too. Like I'm not like if I like just looking for stability, he's someone perfect. But obviously, like I've told people, like you play to win. He's not someone I think is going to be a league winner by any means. I think that the person on this team is Lamar or Derrick Henry to be the league winners, and I think he's just kind of like an attribute towards those guys. So like, but I don't mind drafting him. I'd love him as my wide receiver 3. Like, oh my goodness, if I had Zay Flowers as my wide receiver 3, I'd be really excited. But my wide receiver 2, I think I'd rather go other options. I think Jalen Waddle's near where he's at. I think I'd rather lean towards Jalen Waddle a little bit. Even Chris Olave, I just think that the upside's a little bit better for them.
Yeah, so he's 27. Waddle is wide receiver 33 right now, which is
Yeah,
interesting. I'm kind of. Do you think we'll get a big spike in his ADP because of the absence? Like once we get like the main drafting season, once that really happens and it fluctuates because of Jonnu Smith, I'd imagine it's going to move up. Or do
yeah.
you think a lot of these fans are going to have that bad taste in their mouth from Waddle last year, and we're going to be able to get this discount on him?
Yeah, we're already starting to see it a little bit in the first rounds. Like Bijan's moving up to like 2 in a lot of best ball drafts. Like he's overtaking Justin Jefferson a little bit. So yeah, I definitely think he won't be a 33 when it comes to draft time. I think Zay Flowers actually might end up getting the backseat a little bit too.
And then finally, we have the tight ends. Mark Andrews, who famously dropped the pass that kept the Ravens from advancing in the playoffs last year. Isaiah Likely took the NFL by storm week 1 last year. A lot of things that kind of get brushed away though is with all that happening. Isaiah Likely was wide open in that game too, and Mark Andrews also got in a car crash that early season. So like we saw a little bit of time for him to get back into the swing of things. It's been a lot of the talks in his camp. There were trade rumors in the offseason whether or not they were going to move him, but either way, Andrews and Likely are not off this team. Their contract ends this year, so potentially one of them is going to be off the team after this season. Give me your thoughts though on these two and how you're approaching them.
I'm still approaching Mark Andrews as a tight end 1. I think he holds the record, I think, for the Ravens for touchdowns all time for them. I mean, I still think at the end of the day, I still believe he is Lamar's favorite target at everybody. Just when it comes down to like in those, obviously look at the very last play of the game, he went to Mark Andrews as his trusted guy. I don't think one play is going to take that away from him. I think, he had a really rough stretch last year. He burned you for the most that drafted him. Not until like, I think week 6, it got a lot better. That's when the touchdowns started to come out. But like, I mean, obviously I think weeks 3 and 4, he didn't have a single catch. Like people were like panicking. People were dropping him at that point, and it was just kind of nuts.
We had to talk about it in waivers last year. Yeah, finished as wide receiver 29 week 1, wide receiver tight end, tight end 11 in week 2 with 4 catches and 51 yards, and then the next 2 weeks he gave you goose eggs.
Yeah,
but he played those games. He played
at the end of the year. He was tight end 5, which is what he was being drafted as. He was right. It was between like him, Kincaid, then the other 3 of Kittle, or I'm trying to draw a blank of Kelsey, all of those guys. So yeah, I mean, like I like where Mark Andrews is going. Again, like I think if he keeps falling, I'll definitely draft him. Again, I'm not gonna. Again, my philosophy on tight ends is don't take him at ADP, let them fall, and if they keep falling, then obviously snag them.
Mm-hmm. It looks like he might have moved into that touchdown or bust, and that's not a tight end 1 that I like to draft because you fall into that streaming range. He scored a touchdown in 10 of the final 12 weeks, 11 touchdowns in that. The dude was converting touchdown, like end zone targets, like none other. I believe it was above an 80% clip. That's not his historic rate, so I don't see that continuing. He's going to come down a little bit. Kind of adds to Lamar's touchdowns, because they converted so many of those.
Yeah.
So we said this team is what, 11-5?
Nope. Yeah, the win total's at 11.5, I believe.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking over, dude. Like I think they're a complete team. Like it's so hard. Like 12-5 is probably where I expect them to be. Like hunting for that number 1 seed in the AFC.
100%. Yeah. Like I said, it's gonna be most likely my Super Bowl pick this year, but. I can't not go for Lamar, go for the Ravens. It's weird. I wish there was more fantasy pieces I got really excited about because it's Lamar and Henry for me, and I'm kind of out this year.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine. Let's talk about a team where I'm all over all of these players, right? Right? No.
Awkward.
No. Yeah, it is real awkward because I don't know what to do. Let's go to Pittsburgh. Let's talk about the most average team of average teams over the last decade. They finished 10-7. Well, I guess 10-7 the last 2 years, double-digit wins. 8.5 is what they're looking at. They're bringing back Arthur Smith for a second year. Mike Tomlin, 19th year with the Steelers. Goodness, could this be the year? Will they axe him before year 20? No, it's too much. No. Too much.
No, they've only had 3 head coaches in their lifetime, and for the entire franchise, it's crazy.
It's dumb. It's dumb, as I look with as a Colts fan who's gone through just so many lately.
Yeah, there's too many to count.
But I mean, quite a bit of action here. As far as all 4 positions, we essentially have a new guy there. We've got Aaron Rodgers, who was picked up in free agency just like a week and a half ago. Yeah. DK Metcalf was traded for and given a bag. I believe 4 years, $120 million is what he was looking at. Caleb Johnson, the rookie that they drafted in the 3rd round, but their 2nd pick overall because they didn't have a 2nd rounder. And then Jalen Warren still there at running back. And then Jonnu Smith, who was recently acquired via trade. And they brought in Jalen Ramsey as well.
It was 5 years, $140 million for DK, by the way.
There we go. Little bigger.
5 years, 150. My apologies, but yeah. No, this is a. I mean, there's just so many. If you want to define a team, it's just a question mark because you just don't know what you're getting. Like, was Rodgers bad last year or was it the Jets? Because like anytime anybody leaves the Jets, the just situation just gets better for them. Like,
This is true.
I just, I
Look
mean,
at Sam
obviously,
Darnold.
yeah, we're not drafting Rodgers in any situation. Like, I've only taken him in best ball just because of like stacks. If I've taken DK, like, all right, like he's my third quarterback, I'll throw him with a stack if he has like a big boom game because Rodgers still has that in the bag. Like, I definitely can see Rodgers still having like at least a couple games where he finishes as a top quarterback, so to speak, top 12.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lines right now. They have 2 games where they're the total points. Granted, this is very early, folks. These lines are going to move a lot, but as of right now, they're only projecting 2 games to be over 45 points for the Steelers. It's not a lot. We like high 40s, low 50s are great lines. So this isn't going to be a team that they're not going to want to. Well, everybody but one, maybe 2 players isn't going to want to win a certain way. Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin, they want to run the ball. They want to win via defense. That's how they get over, 8 wins every single year. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, these are horses of different colors. You know what I'm saying? Like these
Yeah,
guys, they've got an agenda. Rodgers does what he wants when he gets out there on the line. And DK Metcalf, he's good at what he does. He wants to continue to catch the ball and make big plays. So, uh, do you? Is there going to be cohesion? Do you think we're going to have is Mike Tomlin going to get fired because Aaron Rodgers tells him to? No, that won't happen.
no,
They'll
that
cut
won't
him.
happen.
They'll cut
I
him.
think this is like, I think they definitely brought in, Aaron for a reason. I think him and Arthur Smith can work together. Obviously, Aaron's, can change plays of the line if he wants to. They brought in, third round pick, Caleb Johnson, who we both like. We both had him as like at least 5 in our rankings of the rookie prospects. But it's gonna be interesting because like Jalen Warren is the better passing, protecting running back, so to speak. So like I think we're obviously, and Caleb's going ahead of Jalen. I mean, everyone likes the new toy, and we know what Jalen is. But like, are you have any interest in Jalen Warren as a redraft?
I'm not going to say I'm avoiding him, but it's I don't know. I don't like messing with Arthur Smith here. And I kind of like Caleb Johnson this year, like where I have him ranked, but I don't have him getting off to that hot start. Like you said, that pass blocking is a huge thing. Aaron Rodgers is not going to put up with, a guy letting him get put on his back.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to fly with him. So Jalen Warren might be getting pushed for more snaps just because, Rodgers wants him out there. So I think that's going to play a lot into it. We might, it'd probably take several weeks to get him rocking and rolling. So I just don't find myself clicking on Johnson. And then Jalen Warren's, it's just not sexy. It's just not a sexy pick.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at the game logs, I mean, obviously he played with Najee last year, but the most like attempts he had was 14, and the rest have just been single digits or like right around 11 or 10. So, obviously he's never been a bell cow type of back, and I don't think that's what they want Jalen Warren to be. I think Caleb will be the first and second down back, and they'll probably throw Jalen back there as the protector for Aaron. I could see that happening. So I think Caleb is kind of like in this weird spot where I just don't think he's going to pay back on dividends where you draft him.
For sure. That's right where I'm at. I think he might be where he finishes, but I think it's going to be inconsistent and it's not going to work the way you want it to, so you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
As far as target breakdowns, at least last year anyway, in Arthur Smith's offense, running backs had a 24% target share. That was number 2 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then tight ends they were the 7th most at 26%. And we just added clearly one of Arthur Smith's favorite players in the NFL, Jonnu Smith, to the team. So DK Metcalf should help soak up
how much flack we gave him for the Kyle Pitts situation, and he ended up being correct about it. Like we gotta like apologize. Sorry, Arthur, you were right.
Yes and no. Yes and no. He still screwed me enough in fantasy. I guess let's move to the wide receiver with DK Metcalf. I mean, we've got Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson. I don't even want to look any of their directions. Like, I'm still worried about DK and how I'm going to address that situation. I don't even want to Calvin Austin is he
on the
like
opposite side. I like DK this year.
Okay, DK. I guess I meant the other those. Like, you're not taking Calvin Austin as a late round flyer.
I would. I'd probably take Roman Wilson just because it's just the unknown, and we've seen kind of Calvin Austin. He's had some spike weeks here and there, but I mean Roman Wilson hasn't played a single snap, and I don't know what happened. I genuinely tried finding out like what happened last year. It was
a day 2 rookie last year that they took. The Steelers did.
And I just, there was nothing. I tried finding beat writers to like trying to explain like why he missed all last year. Last year, it was kind of an anomaly. So I'm just kind of banking. I liked him as a prospect. He was from Michigan. He was their best receiver with JJ McCarthy and Harbaugh. So there's someone I'm really going to take a gamble on. It's like my last pick. I'm like, I'll take it on Roman Wilson.
Maybe they knew they were going to get rid of Pickens this offseason, and they're
Yes.
like, all right, we like Roman Wilson so much, but we don't want Pickens to taint him with his bad attitude. So we're going to separate him completely this year. Once Pickens gone, we'll bring him into the fold.
Yes, yes with DK and Aaron Rodgers and some.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, there goes that logic. But DK, you're liking him this year.
I do. I think where he is, like, I mean, honestly, like when you look at DK, like all he's been is just been a really good receiver. Like, I mean, obviously his rookie year, he finishes 33, but then in 2026, 11, 18, 16, and then obviously last year, I don't know what to call it last year. I mean, it just seemed like he was kind of off with the play calling. I mean, obviously they fired their offensive coordinator. I mean, and JSN kind of took a step up. So, I mean, but other than that, he's just been a really good receiver. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers loves his wide receiver ones. He hones in on them all day long. So I'm willing to take that gamble of where he's at. I think he's going at like wide receiver, 20? Right?
He is wide receiver 23, going about pick 50 right now.
Yeah, and I think he can beat that ADP for sure.
And like Gino wasn't great in a lot of metrics last year just because of like he got dry humped up and down that field all year. That offensive line was horrendous. So
Yeah.
to DK's chance, like he does a lot of downfield stuff. If Gino doesn't have any time, they're not going to be able to make those connections. So
Yeah.
he didn't get those big long touchdowns like he had the year prior with Gino. What else you got with the Steelers? Anything else you want to sprinkle in there?
He just obviously you just mentioned that there was seven most like targets and tight end, but Aaron Rodgers like doesn't look at his tight ends. Like remember when they brought in Jimmy Graham, they were really going to try to make that like they were trying to do that for him. They try to bring in other things. It just never works out for him. He just I don't know if he doesn't like the tight ends, like, but he's never had a fantasy relevant tight end if I don't recall.
Tunyon. He had that year with Tunyon. But it was more
Was he
relevant.
like tight end 11 though? Like was he?
I think he was top 10, but it was on the back of touchdowns. Like it was one of
Yeah.
those anomaly. I think he had an 8 touchdown season. So that kind of throws that off. Outside of that, he really hasn't.
Yeah, he just airs the ball out and he doesn't go for checkdowns. He goes for the home runs.
11 touchdowns. Yeah, that 2020 season, he had 11 touchdowns. So quite the anomaly. You don't see that often.
Yeah, quite an anomaly. Yeah, but, and then
He's playing on
Freiermuth,
Kansas City right now. I didn't even realize that.
I didn't realize that either. But yeah, Pat Freiermuth takes a back seat because obviously when Arthur Smith goes and gets a guy he really, really likes.
Oh, which sucks so bad because Freiermuth was like dark horse for me. One of those really late tight ends you could take, and I saw a decent chance of just him being the second target, maybe third behind the running backs. But yeah, that dream's gone. Now he's gonna be split with Jonnu Smith, and it's just more Arthur Smith I don't like messing with.
And then the Darnell Washington's just gonna get a random touchdown here or there. So yeah, no, I'm
So
out.
big.
I'm out on the tight ends for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
8.5 is their estimated win total. What are you thinking?
Dude, it's gonna be 9 wins. So annoying. They just don't. I mean,
Folks, if you haven't heard the joke, or I guess not joke, but just Tomlin has never had a losing season.
exactly. Like he's not going to start now. So I just and Aaron Rodgers is good enough for they can squeak out 9 wins with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs though. That's actually where
That's a different bet. I'll take the
Yeah.
over on the wins, but I wouldn't bet on the playoffs.
no
There
too many
are-
good teams in the AFC.
Yeah, without some quarterbacks getting knocked out, there's no chance for them. Alrighty, let's get to a more exciting team.
Yes.
Just kidding, not the Browns. Let's pop up the Bengals here. We've got so much firepower on the offense. Not so much the defense. This team was horrendous on the defense last year. It's okay. They fired their DC. They're going to get better. No, they're not. 9-8 the last 2 years. The Bengals were. They got 9.5. It's their over under this year. Shocking. They lost the opening game to the Patriots last year. Gerard Mayo, that dynasty started off great until week 2 for them.
They ruined so many eliminators. I think they had like the most that week. It was like 80 something % on the Bengals to win week 1. And so it just ruined everybody's eliminator, which is hilarious. So
And-
kudos to them.
The Bengals came up 1 win short of making the playoffs. So had they not screwed that up, But that's Zach Taylor for you. You know,
Yeah,
he's
currently
just
watching The Quarterback from Netflix. Pretty good so far with Joe Burrow, so can't complain.
yeah, Joey B working on that dexterity with the piano playing.
Yeah.
Love it. He's going early, folks. He's going up there at the top ADP. He is QB 4, 34 overall, and goodness. Usually, I don't like picking player. You know, like if they've got a high touchdown, rate one year, it's usually going to go down the next year. But like I said, this defense got no. They didn't get any better. And Trey Hendrickson, their defensive tackle or not tackle, defensive end, he still hasn't signed. He wants a new contract. And then they drafted a first rounder that still hasn't signed his contract either.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, who was kind of a project pick at best too, and so and he just wants a fully guaranteed contract, and he's walked away from camp. So now they're missing Trey Hendrickson, who was arguably the best defensive player last year, and then now they're missing their top rookie, who was supposed to help end. Yeah, this is it's gearing up for Cincy to be having to score at least 35 points a game to just win.
That's what they had to do last year.
Yeah, which is
It was
crazy.
so bad. I mean, but it was good for fantasy. It's really good for
Oh
us in
yeah,
fantasy.
amazing.
So the question then, I guess, with Burrow is, are you willing to go? I mean, I guess not really back to it because you didn't pay this price last year. QB 4, 34. You're getting him sandwiched right between Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. And the only difference between him and the other guys in the top five, they run. You know,
Hmm.
he can scoot a little bit, but he's not rushing for the yards these other guys are. So yeah, I'm not finding myself drafting him a whole lot. Every now and then, some best ball, get some sprinkles just because it's fun. But redraft, I don't know how much exposure I'll have.
Best ball for sure. I've taken him because I've taken like T Higgins or Jamar, Chase Brown, whatever the case. I just want to stack with him. He's going like in a pretty decent spot. I just don't know where people like. If people are fans of Joe Burrow at the end of the day, like if you like him, you really do like him, and so I can see like in your leagues where people have this like fandom towards him and just but I don't blame him because like what have they done to really improve his life to make it easier on him to be a quarterback? They haven't. They're asking a lot out of him again, and like maybe that could be fatigue coming into this year where he has to throw, for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns to just win every week. I could see that being, frustrated. I mean, he was, what 82 yards short of 5,000 yards this year. I mean, like had they been to the playoffs, he probably might have been the MVP. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
Um, ADP wise, I'm still taking the top four. I'm still taking Hurts, Jaden, Josh, and Lamar before I take Joe, just because, again, rushing quarterbacks typically have a better chance of winning you leagues. Like Jaden, obviously, last year won you leagues. Lamar, Josh Allen, all those guys were winning you leagues. I'm not saying Joe Burrow didn't win you league, but it's just, I think, where the price you pay is a little more different.
Last year, yeah, Joe Burrow was fourth in points per game, 23.7.
Yeah.
It's money.
I
It's
just don't see
money.
it changing.
No, not too much. I haven't ranked as high. I can't also buy him at that price.
Yeah, he's QB 5 for me, and that's where I don't know, it's like, do I like him at the ADP or can I wait a little bit and get guys who I think could be a bigger gamble too, like Caleb or Kyler or even Dak? Like again, like it's just some guys I'm just like, I could see Dak having the same kind of season like Joe Burrow. Like what did the Cowboys really do that was different that make their lives easier on defense? They didn't really do anything, and I could see Dak having to throw a ton of yards for them to win games.
Yeah. So running back, we have Chase Brown, Zach Moss, Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech, the rookie, the sixth rounder. Zach Moss, I believe, took a pay cut to come back. Chase Brown lit the world on fire. Quite the excitement we got from Chase Brown last year after you picked him up off waivers and helped you probably take you to a championship possibly. Give me some info. Where's your thoughts on these guys?
Zach Moss, it's really hard not to take him just because, like, after I want to say week 8, when Zach Moss got the neck injury, he was like fifth in points for the running back position. So it's like, again, like what has changed for Cincinnati to be a little bit easier? Like, again, like it wasn't just like on the ground, it's also the targets he was getting. Like after
You're talking
week
about Chase
9,
Brown, right?
yeah, Chase
Oh,
Brown.
okay, I thought you said Zach Moss. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. He had in week 10, 11 targets, 7, 3, 8, 3, 3, 4. Again, that's just a nice, healthy mix of both being, getting yards from receiving and also for running. And I don't, maybe Zach Moss might take some goal line work. But Chase Brown's a pretty big guy. It's not like he's small. He's 5'10, 210. So it's not like he's a little guy. So
He's thick enough for me. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, maybe a little taller if we can get up to that 6'2", 250 that Derrick Henry, but then he would be able to be a sweet pass catcher. And
Yeah.
that's part of the part you love about him. This team, we're talking about how they're going to be down and down bad. You're going to be dumping off passes. That's just going to have to happen. So I'm all about Chase Brown this year. Pretty excited. He's going as RB11, 25 overall. He's going above Kyron Williams, Brees Hall, James Cook. You like him above all those guys?
Um, for like the upside of it, yes. I think Brees Hall. I think maybe you can make the argument for him and Brees Hall, though. I think just because of the talent level.
I like the team better for Chase Brown. I think
Yes,
that's what pushes me over the edge with him over Brees for me.
I'm right there with you on that.
Well, let's go to these wide receivers. We've got a triple crown winner here, man. Jamar Chase leading the wide receivers in yards, receptions, and touchdowns last year. It's kind of easy to do that when your running mate's out for half the games. But T. Higgins, he was fifth in points per game last year, so he was essentially a wide receiver one for you when you were able to play him. Andre Yoshivas, nice little fill in, second year. Day two draft pick Jermaine Burton might also get involved this year. So give me some insight here on these wide receivers.
If you have the number one overall pick, let me ask you this: are you not taking Jamar Chase 100 times out of 100?
No, I'm not. I'm barely taking him at 101.
Okay.
That's just because I don't like taking the consensus 101 though. Like that's just
I guess like we just went over it, like right, like nothing has changed, right? He's gonna have to throw the ball a ton. That's obviously Joe Burrow's best friend. It's so hard for me. Like I get it. Number one has never repeated, but I think Jamar Chase is just so talented to where like I can make that argument. Bearing health, if he plays all 17 games like he did last year, I definitely could see him being again the Triple Crown winner. Like it's in his realm. I think people have this like 1A 1B between him and Justin Jefferson. I think Jamar is the more talented of the two. I think Justin is also a very complete wide receiver at route running, but I just think there's just something towards like the physical nature when you watch Jamar, like him breaking tackles is just stupid. Like
yeah.
it's just crazy how many broken tackles he has. So I think that's where I lean towards Jamar.
I wouldn't fault anybody for taking the 101, and I'm not saying that it's smart. I just I do the things I do, folks. Okay. Also, unless it's a two running back, three wide receiver roster, I'm probably taking a running back first anyway. Now, if you're asking who the first wide receiver I'm taking, yeah, it's Jamar Chase. I'm taking him number one, but I would probably be taking Bijan at the 101 right now this year.
Fair enough.
T Higgins. I mean, boy, I've ridden that T Higgins train many a season. I didn't as much last year, so I'm a little fresh. I haven't been hurt. The weird part about his contract is he gets paid a bunch of money every time he steps out on that field. Every game that he plays, he gets more and more money. But that doesn't help you in fantasy. Like all these people saying, like, that's great, that's awesome. It means he's going to play more. No, it means he's
Incentives,
going
yeah.
to start more. It means he's going to go out there, play 6 snaps, and then he's going to go back to the bench because he's hurt. And you played him. And you don't get anything for that. So that's my biggest fear is he's going to be even more incentivized to go out there, even when he might be banged up. And it's always soft tissue stuff.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like obviously like he is injury prone because he's pulled his hamstring several times and like and Zach Taylor being the head coach has not helped for fantasy purposes because like he's used him as a decoy. He's like, yeah, he's ready to go. He's going to be out there, and then he doesn't play a single snap, but he suited up and was in uniform. But besides that though, man, but when he plays, he's just so good. Like that's the thing though. It's like you want to sit there and ignore the fact that he's burned you, but man, he burns you if you're against him and he's playing. And he has again a guy who's going to be throwing for almost close to 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. It's got to get divided somewhere, and who doesn't like having a guy who's going to get over 1,000, maybe double-digit touchdowns?
My biggest issue with him is where he's going. He's going about wide receiver 14 right now, 32 overall. It's the highest he's ever been drafted. Like this feels like Waddle last year. And again, that's maybe a bad example because the Dolphins got hit with a weird anomaly of season. But it's just I don't want to be drafting him up there when that's kind of where his ceiling is. You know what I mean? It's too scary. I'd rather take I mean, I guess AJ Brown goes just a couple spots ahead of him, but Garrett Wilson's right there. Devontae Adams, Rashi Rice is going behind him. So many other players I think I'd rather click the button on, or maybe a running back if you're, just in that range in general. So I don't have a lot of T. Higgins, or I don't see myself having a lot of T. Higgins this year.
Yeah, I love him in best ball. Like I snag him all the time in best ball. I think he's perfect for best ball, but for redraft, like he does scare me a little bit. I think he'd have to fall past like Devontae Adams for me to be like, all right, he's gone way too far. I need to snag him. It's ridiculous that people are just passing on him.
His career fantasy finishes 17, 49, 17, 22, and 30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's only missed a big amount of games. The last 2 years, he's only played 12 games. But I don't know. T. Higgins, great player. He's amazing. I'm going to watch him do great things, but on other teams.
That's
Then
fair.
and then Mike Gesicki, the tight end. You play him. He's a streaming tight end. You play him when T. Higgins is out. That's essentially how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against him. I think he's a perfect streamer. I don't want to be take. I don't know, like because obviously we both punt on tight end most of the times, and like I think there's other tight ends that probably fall a little bit before him that I snag. But like if you're starting Mike Gesicki as your tight end, it's probably going to be your weakest point of your team. Hopefully,
If
um,
you're starting him at tight end, that means you're in a very deep league because
yes,
there are way more tight ends I'd rather take in that area.
yeah. I think he's a perfect streamer. We'll probably be talking about him a lot being a streamer candidate.
All right, over under. What you taking?
What's their win total? 8.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the over.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No problem there. Right, last team. This one will go quick, folks. There's not a lot to say here.
Yeah, there is.
Cleveland Browns. It's the Cleveland Browns. They are a 3-14 team last year.
Hmm.
They projected win total at 4.5. They are favored in just one game. It's against the Tennessee Titans. They made, I mean, quite the splash. Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles last October. Then he tore it again, like a month and a half later. So he's out. He's out the whole season, and they're getting pretty close to the point where they can finally cut him. So he's gone. They've got Jerry Judy who under contract. They've got David Njoku there, and then the running back situation. Oh
I
man.
can't get over that graphic. I did not approve of that graphic, folks. I have on record. I'm not approving that
Look, I
graphic.
searched for Judkins. That's all I could find. Okay.
Yeah,
Look, I guess we don't have all the details at this point in time. We're still watching this fumble out, but for any of you that have missed it, Quinshon Judkins, early second round pick for the Browns. He was arrested in Florida. Little incident between him and a lady friend of his, and it's not looking good. It's not looking well. I guess it depends who you ask. Sometimes it looks like so. I guess she didn't report it early,
yeah. She
so
reported
that's
3 days late, so there's a lot of defense lawyers that are saying this could be in favor for him. Again, I get she did go to the police station and they did take photos of her. Apparently, gave her a 1-2 piece and a soda. So not really sure what his situation's going to look like again. But we're talking about the Cleveland Browns here, who really just don't care about player like what they are, like Deshaun
yeah.
Watson.
Justin
I
Tucker's outside about to get a contract.
so like I genuinely think that he will still be playing this year. I think he gets suspended for 3 games.
The hard part here is the language with the NFL and how they treat these situations. We may not get definitive information over the next 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks. And the NFL's easy way they do that is put you on the commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah,
They put you there. You're just in limbo. We don't know how long you're there. We don't know what's going on. So he could be potentially put on the list the whole season. He could be put on there for the first 4 weeks. It could be 8. So many things could happen. Even if
it
we
could be
don't actually
training
see a
camp.
suspension, it could just be training camp. There's a lot up in the air. All we know is we need to prepare. We need to prepare for other situations here. So uh, we got the Jerome Ford took a pay cut but came back to the team. Gave you some decent fantasy weeks last year, filling in for Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb moved on, went to Houston. So they got Judkins they took early in the second round. And then Dylan Sampson. Look, folks, he's a day 3 pick. He went very early in the 4th round. Like, essentially, like, round
Right there.
3
Yeah.
adjacent. Like, just like right there. Like right there. Immensely talented as far as, like, speed, back. Like, I'm excited to see what he gets to do in Stefanski's offense. But where are you going? Are we just avoiding? Or are you leaning in?
where it's July, mid-July, we really have to see where this plays out because again, like I don't think the Browns cut him at the end of the day, regardless of the situation at hand. The Browns have shown leniency towards guys like this, so I definitely think the Browns are going to keep him.
They gave
Uh,
Kareem Hunt a home after his incident.
yeah, like the Browns are just the shining example of what you don't do as a franchise. So I generally think he's going to get suspended for a couple of games, and he could be a real like people are going to pass on him, and he could go fall and slip, and he might be a perfect candidate to snag. As really terrible as that says.
Yeah, some people might not begrudge him just because of who he is and all that kind of stuff. The only reason I would be looking that direction is if your IR spots allow you to put suspended players. I know on Sleeper you can't have that setting on. I'm not 100% with Yahoo and ESPN. I don't really play there anymore. But if that is a possibility, then I think that there is a reach that he falls that why not? Because he is immensely talented. He's great. I think he's going to do good on that offense to kind of fill into that Nick Chubb role. But at the same time, it's looking like he's making some poor choices, which maybe drafting him could be one as well.
You're not wrong.
Wide receivers, we got Jerry Judy, Cedric Tillman, who was fun in the Jameis Winston era, and then Deontay Johnson. Yet again, another problem child here on the Cleveland Browns. Jerry Judy, I mean, at what point does that fall that he's having? Because right now you're looking at ADP 29 for wide receiver, 67 overall, so mid sixth round. Oh my God, we haven't even talked about the quarterback situation. So Deshaun Watson's there, folks. That's number 5. We also have Joe Flacco, who's come back. We have Kenny Pickett, who was traded for. We have Dylan Gabriel, who was taken in the third round. And then Shedeur Sanders, who fell so far and finally went to the Browns. So obviously Watson's out. I don't know why you'd play Flacco unless it's like Stefanski's worried about his job and he has to win games, because I feel like any of the other 3 guys is the better option just as far as like developing and seeing what you got.
I think Stefanski, like if he gets fired, I think he'll get a head coach job right away. So
100%. Come to the Colts, buddy. Come to the Colts.
Seriously, honestly, that's where I'm at with it. My genuine thought for this is that I think Flacco starts for 6 to 8 weeks if he's healthy. Things aren't going that way. I think Dylan Gabriel gets the second chance because he's a higher draft pick, and then he'll get a very, very short leash because I think ownership's going to get really testy with it, and then we'll see shooters start for a couple games at the end of the year.
It's also the point, like, how can you not give a short leash? Be like, honestly, I think they should do a rotation. You get 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks, you get 2 weeks, and then at the end of that, 8 weeks spent, be like, all right, man, you get 3 weeks now. We're going to see how this goes.
And my stance has stayed the same for this team. I will not draft a single player on this team at their ADP. They will need to fall so dramatically. I do want Jerry Judy. The only player I'm actually targeting on this team that, like, if he falls a little bit is Cedric Tillman. I think he's cheap. I think he showed flashes last year when he was healthy. That's the only guy I'm like, all right, I could take a gamble on. But everybody else, I'm just like, I don't want it. I just don't know what's going to happen.
Cedric Tillman's going as wide receiver 61, pick 158 overall. So as far as a late round shot, I don't mind it in the fact that I think he is talented. I think there's something there, but this team is going to be god awful. Awful. They're not going to be fun to watch. I guess what you're leaning into is hoping there's garbage time. And this team, I believe, led in passing attempts last year because they were just down.
They're so
down
bad.
A lot. They also had Jameis Winston for several games, which he's going to add to that count.
If they bring him back,
They could, folks. The Giants drafted a first-round quarterback, and they got Russell Wilson on the roster. So Jameis Winston doesn't need to be on that team. Nope. Come on back.
So much fun. If Jameis is announced as like coming back to Cleveland, I'm all in on the Cleveland players now.
It's sad that like Cleveland Browns are fans like Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco have been the most exciting things in your franchise.
Yeah,
it's poor fans. We feel bad for you. But yeah, I'm really just avoiding most of this team. Jerry Judy, there is a point where he falls where I'll take a shot, but probably won't. And then David Njoku, I don't mind him. Tight end 10, like he's going to soak up targets. This is like leaning into the game script.
Brian, you like David Njoku. Don't sit there and it's like you have talked about him enough. In every draft we've been in, you've taken a majority of the time. So no,
Well,
Brian is very
to
much
that point, when we do mock drafts on this show, we only go 10-ish rounds, so I have to take it to. If I'm taking a tight end, it's Brenton Strange. I'm taking him as like tight end 18 or whatever he's going right now. But David Njoku, I don't mind it because there's going to be production somewhere on this team. He's also in a contract year, so he's going to be playing for it. But I don't take tight ends where he's going in the draft, so that's my conundrum I'm in right now.
Fair.
I mean, do we have to ask 4.5? Come on.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, it's. I mean, the max I could see them winning is honestly 4 games. So yeah, it's the under for me for sure. I think they don't want to win too.
I'd hope not. So another thing too, they had the number 2 overall pick, folks. If you missed the draft, they traded down traded with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Went down to 6, I believe. Acquired a future first round pick. I wouldn't be surprised if
they are rooting for Jacksonville to suck.
Yeah, they're definitely hoping that they have a little bit more in the war chest to move up this next year. Which then why did you draft 2 quarterbacks this year if you're probably taking a guy like? I get it.
There's more rumors spewing out or coming out from this whole Judkins situation that their GM has very questionable calls towards drafting.
Andrew Berry.
Barry.
I liked him initially.
He avoids character issues, which clearly he does not care.
Right. Oh man. So yeah, I'm taking the under. Under. Easy peasy.
Yep.
Folks, that's going to wrap it up here for the AFC North. Stay tuned. We'll be dropping nuggets as we get them for more news on Judkins and all the fun that's happening there. If you're looking for more of us, hit us up on the socials. It's Too Much Fantasy Football. It's at @too_much_Brian if you're looking for me. Brandon, where you at?
I'm at Too Much Bean Milk on X.
That's right. Hit us up on the other channel. We'll be doing the other half of our breakdowns for these divisions. NFC's over there. AFC is over here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Other than that, we'll see you later.